or listening to a podcast from Glenstall Abbey.
In chapter 48 of his rule, Saint Benedict advises his monks on how to spend their day most fruitfully. He points to the importance of manual work, but he also tells them how many hours during the day they should devote to the Lectio Divina, which we can render by the phrase divine reading. As prescribed by Benedict, the Lectio should vary through the year from around 2 hours up to almost the whole day, since every Sunday the monks should devote all their leisure time to the practice of Lectio. But what was the Lectio, you may ask? What did Benedict mean by it? First of all, we need to remember that monks were avid readers of scriptural texts. To the mind of Benedict, this was their natural habitat, and it was during the office in choir that the monks entered the reality of the scriptures. Importantly, they were advised to do this with understanding. Readings from both the Old and New Testaments were also delivered in the oratory for everyone to listen to, some of them recited by heart, which shows how familiar the monks were with these texts. But that wasn't enough. If someone was not sufficiently acquainted with the Psalter, they were required to improve their knowledge and understanding of these texts. But the real task put before everyone was to continually absorb the Word of God and the writings of the Fathers which commented on it. Every day, the monks were supposed to devote many hours to getting to know God through his words. What can we learn from the monastic tradition today? What could our Lectio Divina be like if we were to imitate the monks? First of all, reading the scriptures would have to become a priority in our spiritual life. If this were the case, we would to have at our disposal, however busy we may be, at least an hour to simply sit down, read, and meditate on the divine words. But this is only a start. What really matters is the way we do it. We have to approach our Lectio with a firm belief in the truthfulness of the divine message. We will also have to make full use of our mental faculties. If we just read the sacred text without actually employing the potentiality of our mind, without a serious attempt at understanding what God has to say to us, then the time spent on it will be almost futile. Putting it very crudely, the clear message we inherit from the monastic tradition is that the best reading and meditation involves a very active work of our mind. Only in this way can we grasp the riches of the divine logic concealed in the words of the scriptures. And our prayer afterwards will be filled with the warmth of love for God.